G'day, welcome along. Just going to give a few moments for people to come along and join the stream, and then we will continue on. Hope everyone has had a good day where they are, a good day or night, depending on what time zone you're in. Quite chilly here, if I say so myself. Still in winter here in New Zealand. Welcome along, mate. Shetland is Norwegian. Welcome along. Ever present on my stream, so it's nice to see your support here again, mate. Yep, as I mentioned, just going to let people trickle in when they need to, or just in general, and then we'll continue on. Let me know where you're watching from, of course. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss out on the airport update that eventuates from the stream. And also get the notification bell on to, of course, receive that notification. How many time zones are in New Zealand? One. We are in GMT plus 13, I think, or is it plus 12 at the moment? Not too sure. But when daylight saving begins in the I think it's late September, then it will be GMT 13 because the time goes forward, I think. But yep. Anyway, hello and welcome to today's stream, ASJE Aviation HQ Live, episode 16, setting up the next airport update, which will be random ops number 14. Different to yesterday's stream, but of course, if you did miss out on yesterday's stream, it's on my channel at the moment. I will put that in the description below after production. But it is on the channel. It's my most recent stream, so you'll be able to find it. Yeah, it's rather chilly here today, I must say. Overcast conditions outside. It's like 10 degrees Celsius out there at the moment. It's not really that enjoyable, I must say. But yeah, but yesterday's stream part 1, I did the whole picking out of the models that would be in the next episode. And today's stream is pretty simple. It's just unboxing all of the models and putting them in their particular places, and then putting out some of the GSE or ground service equipment. And then hopefully it looks spick and span for the airport update, which will end up being filmed. I don't know when that will be being filmed. Probably on the next sunny day. I got to write the script out. I have already worked on the schedule board that I was going to work on last night, which I ended up doing, and that will go on my website before the actual airport update is published. So yeah, how many models do we have to bring out today? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, we've got at least maybe 20. Maybe 21, depending on if there's room on the taxiway for that extra aircraft, which I can't remember what it was. I think it was the Fiji Airways 350, I think it was, which we'll see if that fits later on. But anyway, hope not too sure how long the stream will go for, but hope you sit back, relax, and enjoy the stream. If you have any questions regarding aviation and how I got into it, or more models, or anything you want to know, go ahead and leave any messages in the chat, and I'll get to them. I'm using my other phone to monitor the chat, other opposed to yesterday using it as a number picker, so then I can actually see what's happening in the chat. so I'll be able to get to your questions if you have any quicker than yesterday. So anyway, we're going to start off at Alpha 1, which is up here. They're the Alpha gates again. If you didn't see yesterday's stream, this is the what's it called? The arrangement on my airport. Here we have the Alpha stands. These are for the wide body aircraft like the 777s, 350s, 787s, A380s, which we don't have any coming out today. Alpha gates here, ranging from 1 to 5. Down here is the Delta gate for a narrow body. And the Bravo stands here. This for the turboprop, then 2, 3, 4, and 5 for like a 737 or an A320, 321, etc. Then over here we've got the Charlie stands. This is Charlie 1, which is usually for a cargo aircraft. But if it is for a passenger aircraft, it would be for like a standoff bay. And then that will be pushed out and then taken to one of these stands to be processed for departure. Charlie 2 won't be used again, but Charlie 4 is another one of those standoff bays again. Here is where like it can be used as like an off ramp for a military aircraft or an aircraft that is too big to fit here, like a 747-8. They're a bit too big to sit in that spot, so they'll sit here. Or like a government aircraft or something like that. But today's aircraft is quite nice sitting here, so I'm looking forward to getting that out. And then we've got all the other spaces like taxiway Echo, Alpha, Papa here, and Kilo here, and then runway 10 going this way and 28 going the opposite direction. I'm looking forward to actually getting my own place so I can actually have a large arrangement for an airport. I would love to have a terminal, would love to have like 2 runways, um, and like lots of space, like hangars and taxiway lights, etc. It would be actually quite nice, but dreams are free, but not, but it's not usually affordable, is it? But anyway, welcome in Samantha, one of my moderators here on the channel, or at least in the chat there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start opening some of these models. Very nicely done. So the first model we're going to be putting out at Alpha 1 just there, up there. How well does the 777X? Yeah, it fits relatively fine. The 777X only just goes over the road. You can see just there. It only just goes over. And of course with the raked wingtips, they or folded up wingtips, they actually fit quite nicely in the red lines there. So it's nice to see. I didn't mention this yesterday, but if you want to go ahead and check out the link that where I got this airport map, that is actually in the description at the moment. Got it at Aircraft Model Store over in the UK. Took a dogfight to get it here, but I mean, it was well worth it in the end because it's given me quite a lot of use. It's the backbone to my airport's display, so it does need a little bit of an upgrade, but we'll get there at some point. Anyway, the first model that we're going to be looking at, just sitting there at Alpha 1, just there, is an African carrier. And if you did miss out from yesterday's stream, it is of course the Ethiopian Airlines 350-900, released by NG Models, as you can see just there. Echo Tango Alpha Yankee Alpha. It's a registration of this one. Very nicely done. Let's get this out. Nice to have an Ethiopian Airlines aircraft out. I think there was one in last time's airport update. I'm pretty sure there was. Let me just go and scoot over here and get the script from the last stream, or at least last airport update, and then I'll be able to have a look. Yeah, there was, ironically, in the same position. That was a 787-8 Dreamliner by Phoenix Models. This one being a 350 by NG. course, NG models standing for next generation models, much like the 737s, the 737 NG aircraft there, or variants of aircraft such as the 737-600 up to the 900 ER, I believe it is. They are known as the 737 NG for new generation. So very nice. You can see the 350 looking pretty on the airport there. Definitely a likeable aircraft, the 359. I mentioned yesterday that Singapore Airlines invited me to go along to their inaugural flight between Singapore and Christchurch with the 359, and it was I wasn't much of a fan of the 350 before that event, but I can say quite nicely that it is a very likable aircraft. So here it is, looking spanking. I think I've done a model review of this aircraft. If I have done so, I'll put a link in the description after the stream has concluded. Very nice, very nicely done. Rolling gears. The gears don't tilt, as of course NG models gears don't tilt on the axis or struts there. Very nicely done. This is Alpha 1's aircraft. Let's zoom back out and I'll proceed to put it at the gate. This will be a departure aircraft. Sitting at this gate, I will put a pushback tug at the front of the aircraft when setting up the GSE. So the next aircraft we are going to be looking at is the first of the Dreamliners. There's not that many 787s coming out in today's stream. I think there is a few. There's this is technically the only one on a gate, but we do have one, two. I think we have two on the. No, we have three on the taxiways. One's on the runway, two on the taxiway. Radio, and the next one we're going to be looking at, as I mentioned, a Dreamliner. If you know your call signs, you would know who Speedbird is. Of course, the European carrier and the flag carrier of the United Kingdom, being British Airways. Very nice. There she is, sitting pretty in there. Shortest variant of the 787 family. Of course, the Dash 8. The next size up would be the Dash 9, and then the next size up would be the Dash 10. This one being the shortest of the variants, the first one to be built, of course. Released by Gemini Jets, as you can see on the box, and was in 22. Very cool. So it's been in my collection for some time now. Registration wise, this is Golf Dash Zulu Bravo Juliet Golf, or G Dash ZB J. Wow, that's a tongue twister, isn't it? G Dash ZB JG. Man, tongue twister for sure. Damn straight. Rightio, that's without getting too carried away there. So here is the British Airways Dreamliner, looking quite nice in the newer mould, not in the cradle mould that they started off with. As you can see, looking rather nicely done on the belly there. There's no crease line where the wing box meets the fuselage. I'll zoom in. There you go. You can see it better. Pretty difficult to see with the lighting, I guess, and of course the darkness of the navy on the fuselage there, or the belly, I guess. But very nicely done. 787-8 by Gemini Jets. My bad. This will be coming in as a service. Didn't mention the Ethiopian, but that will be going out with service as Ethiopian 507. Sorry, wow, gee whiz. My Australian, even though I'm not Australian, came out of me. Sorry, it was 507 Heavy off to Addis Ababa via Sao Paulo and Papeete. I know there is no Ethiopian flight to Papeete, but I needed to add one to make it fit on the route maps. This British Airways is coming in as a service from Heathrow via New Orleans in the USA, of course, Louisiana, as Speedbird 225 Heavy. Um, Most stunning livery on the 787 is Azerbaijan Airlines. Yes, it is. I would have to agree. Azerbaijan's livery does look pretty spanking, if I say so myself, on the 787. I will have to disagree with the fact that it is the most stunning, because my opinion is very different with that. Best wide body on the planet, best airframe in general would have to be the 787-9 that operates for Air New Zealand, in the Black Fern livery. Um, First ever 787-9 delivered to an airline, and that pretty much explains that Air New Zealand, my national flag carrier, was the launch customer of that aircraft. So very nice. That's pretty much why it's my favourite. Seen it in person, but unfortunately, wasn't wearing any engines due to um, the issues with the Rolls-Royce Trent 1000 engines back in, I think it was 2019. Since it was one of the first off the ranks, off the production line, it of course was one of the first to unfortunately um, be facing the issues, and they set it aside beside the hangar, and that's where I saw it in 2018. So very cool. Next aircraft going here at Alpha 3 today is the second of the Airbus aircraft, and it's a relatively new one in my collection. Coming in, when was this delivered? Or at least, when did it arrive in my collection? Let me just scroll in my list and look for this one. It arrived on December 16th, 2025. It was in an unboxing video, I think earlier in the year, if not late last year. But I do have quite an array of models coming in in the next few weeks. So if you don't want to miss out on that unboxing, you do better subscribe, get the notification bell on. You don't want to miss out on that, because it's going to be my largest ever unboxing of model planes. And when I say that I got a container last time, to put in the models from my last unboxing that had 13 in it, I ran out of room. Okay, so I don't have enough space for the next models to come in. So I need to figure out something for for storage wise. But anyway, Alpha 3's aircraft going in that gate there was of course none other than the Kuwait Airways 330 800 Neo, released by NG Models, one of my two. This one being 9 Kilo Alpha Papa Hotel. The other one I have is Papa India. Ironically, both of the aircraft that I do have were delivered to the airline on the same day, from the Toulouse plant in France, of course, and they were ferried to Kuwait City. Can't remember the day off the top of my head, the particular date, but some factoids there if you didn't know that. Very nicely done. Here is the model sitting pretty in the cradle there. Unfortunately, the 330 800 Neo isn't exactly as popular as the 900 Neo. Not too sure why that is, but I suppose the direct competition to the 800 Neo being the 787 is a lot more popular than the and fuel efficient than the 330 Neo in terms of the 800 variant. So here is the aircraft looking nice, nice looking rate twin tips here. Wouldn't say they're more, wouldn't say they're rate twin tips, but they're definitely different than the standard CO variant. Because just like the 320s that I mentioned earlier on, not earlier on, but in yesterday's stream, this is the Neo variant of the 330, the new engine option, opposed to the CO, which we might be seeing later in the stream, or I don't think we'd have another one, another 330 coming out, but we might do. But yeah, the CO, the older variants being the CEO new current engine option, this being the new engine option, very cool indeed. Game, nice looking. I would love Finnair and Qantas to get the 330-800 Neo. Would be quite interesting, wouldn't it? I don't think Qantas would be going ahead with that. They've already gone ahead and ordered I think it's the 787-10 to replace their 330-200 variant. And of course, the 800 variant would, of course, be the obvious replacement for the older variant, which unfortunately they haven't gone ahead and done. I think the 350 ULRs that Qantas have on order, they are to replace some of the 330-300s. And I think they have like 20 or something on order. So unfortunately, the Neo won't be required in Qantas's fleet. Maybe for Finnair later in the piece, but they do, in terms of Finnair, they have the 359, so probably no need for a 330 variant. Anyway, here is Alpha 3. If I can center it better, there it is. And let's get the model in the shot. Very cool indeed. So far so good in terms of the layout there. 350, 787 and 330. Three different types of aircraft. Let's see if we continue on with that trend. And ironically, I did just mention the aircraft type and the airline that will be in the next one. But of course, if you are new to watching this channel, are new to my content, if you like my content in general, go ahead and subscribe. Get the notification bell on. Hello and welcome. Andy here from ASJE Aviation HQ, hosting the 16th episode of my live stream episodes. Part one was yesterday. Part 2 is today. Setting up my next airport update, random ops number 14. Very nicely done. So far, putting out the 3 models of many. Got so much room yet to fill. I think Sam's in the chat somewhere. If she is, that's the moderator in the chat somewhere. She might be lurking. Anywho, Alpha 4 up the top there. The aircraft I mentioned just before, being the Finnair Airbus A350-900 released by NG Models. This is one of my 3 Finnair 350s. I've got Lima Whiskey Lima and I've got Lima Whiskey Bravo. Whiskey Bravo is the one wheeled livery and Whiskey Lima is the Marimekko Corvette livery. This one being Whiskey Echo is the regular livery, as you can see. Very cool. I mean, people say that Finnair's livery is quite simplistic and quite bland, but in my opinion, if you think about the flag that Finnair has, which you can actually see, you can't quite make it out, but it's well, might be able to show you it better on the aircraft. So let's get it out. But the flag is simplistic itself, white background with a blue Scandinavian cross, of course. So I think the livery kind of goes with the flag. But anyway, let's get this out. Another factoid for you guys, if you didn't know. But Finnair was Europe's first airline, the first airline from the European continent to to have an A350 delivered. So it's very cool. Any Emirates coming out today? No, there is no Emirates coming out today, mate. Unfortunately, we do have Singapore Airlines though. So if that, and we do have Air New Zealand as well. And we have, who else should I spoil? Oh, we've got DHL. 3 airlines that we're familiar with. So as I mentioned, the flag of Finnair is on the back of the aircraft here. Next to the registration, just above my thumb there, that's the flag of Finnair with the blue Scandinavian cross. Doing a terrible job at the focusing, but you can kind of see it. And you can see the blue background, or at least the white background with the blue F logo there, or word mark, or brand mark. I think it's a brand mark. So the delivery is quite nice, if you think about it like that. Very cool indeed. With the, I think it's the second generation of the sharklets. Sharklets on the end of the wings there. Try and get it to have a better focus. Thanks to my big hand there, it definitely definitely looks like the second generation of the sharklet. Very cool. Same as the Ethiopian. Rolling gears. That do not tilt on the struts. And interior of the engines look rather nice as well. Very cool. Coming in with service as a flight from Helsinki, the capital city of Finland. If I can position the camera better for me to put the model at the gate. Rightio. Looks straight enough. I'm very picky with the way that my models stand or sit at a gate. They do need to be straight. That rhymed, and I am very happy with that. Very nicely done there. Very cool indeed. So the setup does look rather nice, if I say so myself. Very cool. So let's go ahead and crack open the next one. This one will be the last of the wide bodies to sit at the gates. The flag Shetland is blue with a white cross, very close to Finland's flag. So I guess what you're saying there is that it's inverted. Very interesting, to say the least. Righto, and the last of the wide bodies to sit at the Alpha stands. In this airport update coming up, it's another 350, but the longest and largest version of of the 350 family. I just said the name of the airline. I'm not going to say it now. It is, of course, Virgin Atlantic Airways. This one being one of my 5, or at least 4 Virgin 350 1000s. This being the longest variant of the 350 family, which you'll see quite eminently when the aircraft is located next to the aircraft. All these big words coming out of my gob today, gee whiz. So there is the aircraft looking quite nice. And it comes with a stand. I don't use the stands for my models. I store them in storage containers, and then when they're displayed on an airport, I don't need the stands. So there you go. And here is the model. One of my favorite airlines. Never flown them, but the The founder of Virgin Atlantic being Sir Richard Branson, one of my aviation idols. Sorry about the siren that just went past. Someone's being naughty in town. But here is the the Virgin Atlantic titles here, looking rather nice, and the model itself very spanking, if I say so myself, with the glittering, somewhat glittering shimmer on the tail fin there. This is one of the older versions of the landing gears. The landing gears are not magnetic. On this one at least, they're just glued in. So, and I think my first of as the magnetic gears for AV400 were the was the ETA Airways 330-900 and the Air Senegal. I think the first 350 that I had come in with the magnetic gears was the Qatar Airways 350-1000, which I have done a model review of. So very cool. Might go ahead and get the Qantas that was released in the August release, but I'm just weighing up my options. Going to wait until I see if NG Models goes along and releases it. No doubt they will. No doubt everyone will jump on board it. Gemini Jets, JC Wings, AV400 already has. Phoenix Models may as well go ahead as well. So let's go ahead and plop this aircraft in the location. I'll give this give you a better angle for Alpha 5, and then I'll show you the length comparison with the 350-900 and the 1000. Of course, the fin air, this one here is a 900, the Virgin Atlantic being a 1000, and you'll be able to see the vast length comparison there. As you can see, the APU of the fin air finishes on the end of the leading line there, and the APU of the 1000 finishes on the center line of the road. So it's quite a telling comparison there. Quite interesting, if I say so myself. Phoenix released the Qantas one. They did indeed. They did indeed, mate. Thanks for the reminder. Of course, Qantas being wow, gee whiz, Australia's flag carrier. Finally got there. Gee whiz. Rightio. I think we might go ahead and put out the wire bodies for or the aircraft that they'll going to be sitting at the the Bravo stands. No, these aren't the Bravo stands. These are the did I say Charlie stands? I'm not too sure, man. Amnesia's getting to me. Right, just going to put this box away first, and then we'll get the next of the aircraft out. And then after these 3 stands, or at least 2 stands here, I'll bring out the aircraft that will be sitting at the off ramp just here, and then do the Bravo stands for the narrow body aircraft, and the Delta stand for the narrow body aircraft that's sitting on that. Very cool indeed. Alright, got there in the end. Alrighty, so the next aircraft that we'll be putting out is would you like 3 or 1 first? Just say a number in the chat. Either C1 or C3. I don't really mind which goes first. I'll just involve you guys to come up with that decision. 3, number 3, okie dokie. That's a good decision if I say so myself, as it's probably my favourite one of the 2. This one being a classic aircraft. The first time I saw this aircraft was way back in I think 1998, I think, at the back of Christchurch International Airport, which of course is my home international airport. This airline has been operating to Christchurch Airport since, I think, think it's 2003. Yeah, I think it's 2004. No, it's way before that. I think it's in the late 1990s. Currently operating the 350. That might give it away who the airline is. But before they went to the 350, they operated the 777s, and before that, they operated a quad jet. And that quad jet was of course, the A340 for Singapore Airlines. Such an awesome model to have in my collection, such nostalgia. Um, Such an absolutely beautiful bird. Nice and classic with the Singapore Airlines emblem on the engines, the outer part of the engines, they're probably on the interior as well. An old livery for Singapore Airlines as well, because the Singapore Airlines titles are in the middle here. Now they're up the top and quite, well, I say the top up the front and span mostly down the halfway up the fuselage, and then the bird on the tail fin is enlarged, of course. So let's get this aircraft out, sitting at this gate here. There is the model. Such a pretty bird. Let's get this out, shall we? Released by Phoenix Models some time ago. Of course, I will be saying when the aircraft was released, etc., during the airport update itself. So very cool. The only one of the quad jets, passenger-wise, to be coming out in today's stream. There is a military aircraft coming out very soon, and of course there is another quad jet later on, which is was technically a passenger aircraft, but technically it is a government aircraft. So, oh wow, 1986. That's quite a while ago, and that just proves to me exactly how long Singapore Airlines have been operating to Christchurch. That's quite crazy. So here is the aircraft. Let me tilt the camera down and get a zoom in. How gorgeous is this girl, man? She is gorgeous. Hairdryer engines, nicknamed in the aviation world because they're so tiny, and they look quite comparable to a hairdryer. I guess they do have a similar shape to the 330 wingtips for the CO variant, because there is no Neo variant of the 340. So I could have given an easy kind of comparison to the Neo sitting at Alpha 3, but an absolutely stunning model. Having some issues with the focusing there, because I'm not filming straight off my camera. In terms of my phone's camera, I'm filming it straight through with YouTube. 9 Victor Dash Sierra Juliet Kilo, registration wise, has actually operated to Christchurch, so even better to have in my collection. And nicknamed Celestar, as you can see, just there. Very cool indeed. So a very nice model to have in my collection, and of course showcased in the next airport update. Coming in with service as Singapore 297 Heavy, which is of course is the representation with the Christchurch service. So I will put this at Charlie 3. Will not have any GSC sitting next to it, as of course a standoff bay for passenger aircraft. So very nicely done. Very nicely done indeed. Right, let's go ahead and bring out the next aircraft sitting at Charlie 1 just there. This aircraft also used to operate to Christchurch Airport, but the airline still does in terms of cargo operations. So very cool. Has a wee bit of a special livery, I suppose. Very cool. If you know your yellow aircraft, you wouldn't know who the airline is straight away, and that pretty much should just give it away. To be honest, it of course is DHL, and this being a DHL Boeing 757-200 PCF. Those that don't know, the PCF that's written on the box, just there, stands for Passenger Converted Freighter. So very cool. So as you can see, let's see if it's seen on the aircraft. May not be able to be seen on the actual aircraft on the artwork, but it might be seen on the model. So we'll crack it open and have a look. As you can see, wearing the decaling for the Rugby World Cup 2015 tournament. Reason why I still have it is, of course, New Zealand, or the All Blacks, won the tournament, beating Australia in the final in London. So that's pretty much why I still have it. And I was going to say something else. Can't quite remember what I was going to say, because the train just left my brain. Rhyming. How good. Very cool indeed. Nice to have this aircraft in my collection, of course. Nicknamed the Flying Pencil, the 757. Technically known as a narrow body more than a wide body. So let's have a wee look and see if we can see. Yeah, we can definitely see them. Ranging underneath the decaling here. You can see the passenger windows there, and then we have the cargo door just at the front there. The D and the H of DHL. That pretty much is an easy way to identify this is a passenger converted freighter. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the passenger windows. It would just be a straight metal, straight design, and no passenger windows. So very cool. Let's keep it zoomed up slightly, and let's plop her in at Charlie 1. The thing that I was going to say just came to mind again. This aircraft here was the first ever aircraft to feature, or one of the first aircraft to feature on my channel. It featured way before, actually what I was going to say, not the first aircraft on the channel, but the first aircraft that arrived when I had a terminal, when it was a regular desk, and it had a terminal on at the rear end here where the aircraft is sitting, because underneath this is an MDF board, and underneath that is a school desk. So very cool. So nice to have that aircraft out. Very nice. So the next aircraft that we're going to be bringing out is so I'll give you some facts. I'll give you some facts for this one. This aircraft here is currently the largest aircraft to operate for the US Air Force. It rolled out, and then in 1968, the first ever model of this aircraft. Let's see. What else? I'm not too sure what else to say about it, but I think the first use of it was 1969. It has been to Christchurch, but not this particular model of it, but the B and C variant have been. But anyway, very large aircraft. Recently, we featured at the Oshkosh Air Force Base, not Air Force Base, the air show. For the folks that went to the Oshkosh Air Show in is it in Illinois, or is it Michigan? I think Michigan is where Detroit is. But anyway, here it is. The US Air Force C5M Galaxy, the Lockheed C5M Super Galaxy, of course, with the Dover tail banner. There she is, sitting in the cradle there. I do have a 1 to 200 scale version of this aircraft. which is sitting behind me, which I'll show you in a moment. I won't pick it up because it is rather heavy. And I'll put the cradle there, and I'll show you when this was released. You can see the year there, 2015. And of course, Gemini Jet's based in Nevada State, of course, State Nevada with Las Vegas, of course. Let's get her out. No doubt she's going to be a heavy girl because made of solid die-cast metal. Let's get her out. Here she goes. Yep, she's a heavy girl. Right. Rightio. I'll sort that out later. So sweet. Here she is. I do my best in trying to hold the model. As I mentioned, it is rather heavy. And here is the model with the new General Electric CF6 engines, opposed to the TF39s that used to operate on the A, B, and C models, that produced that almighty scream of the engines back in the day. These engines here are to modernize the aircraft and keep it in service way past the 2040s, which I don't want to think about because I just had my birthday. So very cool. And here is the tail fin, rather tall. I think it's like 6 stories tall or something, which is something outrageous and like that, with the US flag on the top and the tail banner. This stands here for I think it's Air Mobility Corp or something like that. And then Super Galaxy, like the aircraft is called. No, it's not a C-17, it's a C-5. C-5 Galaxy, Sam. So there you go. I'm trying to find it. What you usually have on the geared doors what AMC stands for, and I'm pretty sure it is the Air Mobility Corporation or something like that. Ah, there it is. That's what it is. This is here. It's right here. Let me just tilt it up and bring it in the shot. There it is. The Air Mobility Command. I was close. I was one word away. Dang it. No, I'm kidding. So this aircraft here, as I'm struggling to keep it in a grip, will sit off at this off ramp here, somewhat out of the way because we do want to also fit aircraft in this spot here. We'll see if it's there. We'll see if it's straight enough. Won't have any GSC either. Might just bring it forward a little bit. Or no. I won't put any GSC because the C5 Galaxy usually has a a ladder coming out of it anyway. So very cool. So let's go ahead and bring out the narrow bodies for today's stream. Very nice. Can't wait to get these out, as we do have 3 of the identical airlines, but 3 different variants of the aircraft. Well, not so much variants, but livery wise. So very cool. So I'll put this cradle back into the box and we'll crack open the narrow bodies. I think I'll start off at might actually do Delta 1 first. So the gate that's all the way over here, as you can see just there. We'll crack her open. In this angle here, and then we'll go and do these gates here. Very cool. Aircraft going at Delta 1 is this ASJE Air A321neo. Vietnamese airline, as you can tell, with the Vietnamese flag on the nose there, underneath the copper window. Released by Gemini Jets in 2019. Will be being replaced by the 330neo when it gets released. So this will probably be the last time it will be featuring on a video, or at least a stream, and video wise in the airport update. Very nice. Let's get her out. Of course, just like I mentioned yesterday with the Neo variant, new engine option, opposed to the old variant, the current engine option. Don't know why the CEO is still being called that, because the Neo variant is technically the current engine option, anyway, or the current option that the airlines are going for. So here is the aircraft. Very nice, very nicely done, with the Vietnamese flag underneath the copper windows. I'm actually just thinking here, I don't actually know why I went ahead and got this model. So probably, yeah, looking forward to getting the 330 Neo, in all honesty. Right, let's put her at the gate anyway. Let's put her at the gate. And see if it is on the stand. There you go. Looking alright. Not bad, not bad. Rightio, let's let's go ahead and open the other narrow bodies. We'll start with Bravo 1, since we just went from left to right. We'll go to Bravo 1. In the last stream, or last update of the airport, it was an ATR, and it was the All Blacks livery. For that occasion. This time it is another ATR, but it's not an not the All Blacks livery. It is the black and white livery, known as the White Fern livery, and an ATR 72-600 for Air New Zealand by Gemini. Sorry, this is JC Wings, not Gemini Jets. Registration wise, it is Zulu Kilo Mike Victor X-Ray. Very cool model. Rather small, if I say so myself. But let's get it open. As you can see, rather tiny. But the detail on this model is quite impressive for the size of it. Very cool. Here is the model. I'll have to zoom in quite a way to get it up close, at least. And here she is. I actually put it on my hand. It's that small. Very nice. Very nice. The propellers do rotate, but I don't. As you can see, they do rotate there, but I don't want to play around with them too much, as they are quite fragile. So this aircraft, it literally just fits in there. Might have to put it back to the one behind it, as of course we do have a larger aircraft compared to the ATR sitting next to it, and we don't want any the wings to be clipping each other, because that would be quite a costly mistake if it was a real life airport. Bravo 1 sitting next to that. Yeah, the Logan SR 340. I would get a SR 340 for my collection, but of course, Air New Zealand don't operate them anymore, and I guess it would come in as a classic aircraft if it was actually released. So, Bravo stands. for the airport today, or update today. Bravo 2, this one here. Starlux Airlines 321neo. The second of the 321neos to be sitting at a stand in today's stream, or the next airport update. Let's get her open without mucking around. Very cool indeed. This model here I took quite a while to actually locate. Ended up being in the same container as the Vietjet that we saw a moment ago. My biggest model I own are two A380s. I do need to show what my largest model is. It is sitting behind me. I did mention it before, so I do need to showcase that, and it's actually sitting next to my newest one, which arrived a couple of days ago. Same scale as well. So very cool. So I will just put this box, or at least the cradle and the box, back together, and then there you go. And then I'll put the aircraft at the stand and see if the ATR is going to have to be moved. Of course, there is the model, looking rather nice. Starlux Airlines, a five-star airline from Taiwan, of course. And as you can see, it is quite close. Wing-wise, so going to have to put the ATR back a bit onto that stand there, just to give some wiggle room between the two there. And this isn't straight, so let's just straighten that up. Very nice. Sam, you just said my biggest one is a 1/2 scale 330 MRTT. Yeah, MRTT. MRTT standing for military something. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, that just went out of my head. With the gears, you have to remind me what the MRT stands for, of course. So here are the last three gates for the airport, and all three of them are the same airline. All three of them are the same airline. The first of them, Bravo 3, is of course. If you know your airlines, you should. This airline is owned by Qantas. The slogan of the airline is "All day, every day, low fares." Seen quite often in Australia, as it is an Australian airline. There it is. That's what it is. Multi-role tanker transport. Thank you very much, mate. That's right, because the MRTT is used to fly around the royal family, and also with the fuel boom on the tailplane. Also, that fuel boom can refuel aircraft whilst in midair, which I think is pretty cool. That fuel boom is, and if it was the case of the KC 135 or the KC 46, I think it is, that would attach to this little hole there on the top of the Galaxy, and it would refuel while the aircraft is in midair, so it doesn't have to land and fuel up on the ground, which I think is rather cool. Rather cool indeed, if I say so myself. So anyway, Bravo 3, the aircraft, of course, and airline, of course, is a Jetstar 320 Neo. The Hotel Alpha 5 Alpha, the first of the 320 Neos to be delivered to Jetstar with the new livery. So very, very nice. Cannot wait to see a Jetstar 787 in this livery. There has been announced that they are working on that. I don't know when one's being painted though, but would be nice to see. Jetstar is one of the only airlines I don't have in terms of 787 operators as a 787, so very cool. So I am definitely looking forward to getting one of them. Jetstar 320 Neo, and we'll put that at the gate. One of these aircraft will be having to be departing, so I will have to lay it out. You just joined, welcome along. Hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you're located around the world. If you like what you see, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, get the notification bell on so you don't miss out on the actual airport update. I will put this aircraft at the stand and then I'll show you the biggest model in my collection. Here we go, looks nice. Let's go ahead and look at it, shall we? There she is. There she is, isn't she? Isn't it? Yeah. She's a big girl. Quite expensive as well. This thing was an absolute rip-off as for the price of it. But it was actually absolutely worth the money. Hasn't really moved much since I got it. But this, of course, being a Lockheed C5M Super Galaxy for the US Air Force. Massive. I was still having to do a model review of this. I just don't know how I would actually go around and do it. As of course it is a massive model, and I don't usually do model reviews of 200 scale aircraft. But as you can see, the tail fin has the Dover Air Force Base tail banner. So very cool indeed. I think registration wise, this is 90 or something, 90024. So very cool. There's of course the hole that that fuel berm I mentioned before would go into, so it could fill up the aircraft while it's in midair. And there's my newest aircraft right there, the Emirates 777X-9X in the new livery, next to the other one I have. Very cool indeed. And then Emirates 777 below that. And then right there, the best aircraft on the planet, Black Ferns over on the 787-9. Such a gorgeous lady. I had to get my sunglasses out of the way there. I want to see them. So that's not a plane, even though I am a pretty cool guy. But you know. Radio. Without showing off anymore, let's get the next aircraft out at Bravo 4. As I mentioned before, the last three aircraft were owned by Jetstar or flown, but of course, so this is of course another Jetstar aircraft, different variant to the 320 Neo that we just saw before, but it is of course another 320. This being a Jetstar 320-200 with the wingtip fences. Probably the best way I can compare the Neo and the CO is that they are both located next to each other. Would have been pretty cool if this one had the sharklets opposed to the wingtip fences, as of course the Neo, as you can see, does have the sharklets. So it would have been cool if this one had the sharklets on it, but it has the original wingtip fences on it. But really, the easiest way to identify whether it is a Neo or a CO, as you can see, these engines here are, I believe, these are the IAE engines, the International Aerospace V2500s, I believe they are. As you can see, quite cylindrical, if that's the word. Is that the word? Not too sure. But as you can see, pretty thin. And then we've got the likes of the Neo engines. As you can see, they are they are much larger. I wonder if I can get it in the shot. Let's do that. You can see the difference there. That's the CO. That's the Neo. Very cool. So very nicely done there. I will put that at the gate. Did just see some debris lying on my airport. Let's get that off. Put her at the gate. And I can actually put the tripod down. Very cool. There's the Jetstar 320 Neo. And the billboard livery, as of course it does have the billboard titles on it, as you can see. Very nicely done. And I'll put that box back together and get the other Jetstar, or the last of the Jetstar aircraft out. The next one is in a special livery for a Jetstar 320-200. Rumours were going around that this aircraft is set to be repainted, or was to be repainted when it flew to Hong Kong to be to have some maintenance work on it, or done on it. But it did prove that the rumours were false. So at Alpha 5, right in the centre of the shot just there, is going to be taken up by none other than, you can call it the Flying Carrot, you can call it the Jaffa Jet, whatever you want to call it. It's an orange plane, and that of course is the Jetstar 10th anniversary livery on the A320-200. Known, what I like to call it the Jaffa Jet. Yes, of course it is orange, of course. This was released way back in 2014, I think it might have been. So very cool. Let's get her open. As you can see on the box there, it was painted to celebrate Jetstar's 10th anniversary. Although, must be said, it doesn't really have anything on the aircraft that signifies that it is a 10th anniversary livery. Technically, Australia's EasyJet plane, because of course Jetstar is based in Melbourne. But yes, I know EasyJet also has an orange A320. So very cool indeed. Let's get the cradle back in the box. If I can do so quietly. There you go. And let's get this Jetstar 320 and the gate. So very cool indeed, slightly off at the back. Very nice. So here is the lineup of the Jetstar 320s. Pretty nice indeed. Will you get the Fly Dubai 787 of them? Yes, I will. I do have the intentions to get all of the 787 all of the 787 customers at least once. So that is a long list. I think I have roughly 50 odd airlines as of now in terms of the 787. I could be wrong in saying that. But I do have 130, I think it's 136 787s in my collection at the moment. And yeah, I know that's a big number. Anywho, I will continue on with, I might put some GSC out. And unfortunately the ASJs are underneath the container here. So do give me a moment to struggle with the container, because the GSC is at the bottom. But we do have some GSC in a bag here. Pushback tugs, and also the catering trucks. But I do need to get my air stairs out and my buses. So do give me a short moment. There's the buses, there's fire trucks, some more of the trucks, and let's get the air stairs out. This of course will be my first time showcasing the air stairs in an airport update. So it's quite exciting if I say so. Very cool. Now I can put the container back on top. Hopefully without anything falling off would be nice. Very cool. Sweet. So I might put out some GSE out now, just for a change of scenery. But we'll use these aircraft here, the Jetstar 320s. We'll see in my last update, we had an aircraft departing at Bravo 3, which is where the Neo is, on the right side of the screen there. And at episode 12, we had a departure out of... We didn't actually have a departure out of any of the Bravo stands in episode 12. Episode 11, we had a departure out of Bravo 4, which is where this one is. Episode 10, we had a departure, no departures out. Episode 9, Bravo 5. So we haven't had a departure out of Bravo 2 for a while. So that's the Starlux. It's the Starlux sitting right here. So that will be displayed on the let's just do that now, shall we? I do have some more aircraft to put out on the airport, but I will do this now. I'll put it... It's going to be going out that way. Okay, so I'll put it like that on the taxiway. Bring it closer up, and then I'll bring out one of my new pushback tugs. If I can get it out. Oops. Is that a new one? Yeah, it is a new one. Put that off to the side. And I'll put that underneath the nose wheel. So it looks like it's being pushed out. Very cool. And now we'll go to these aircraft again. Which one should not have air stairs on it? Which one should not have air stairs on it? The Neo, the orange, the one, or the one in the middle. So type in 3, 4, or 5. So whatever it is won't have any air stairs on it. It won't have any GSE on it either. And in the comments before, you said that you can't wait for the Astana 787 as well. Do they still have the Astana on order? Sorry, the Dreamliner on order. Interesting stuff. Nice, nice. So probably don't... we might need some air stairs. So the fourth one. So this one here won't have air stairs on it. But here are the air stairs. Here is the air stairs, and they will be put on one of the models, or next to one of the models. Purchased from Wings400's website, wings400.com. I should have also put them in my description as well, but I'll definitely put them in the description of the airport update. Here's little air stairs for the narrow body aircraft. I do have air stairs for the wide bodies as well, which I'll show you in a moment. We'll need to bring that one out. So let's get this and put it next to the door here. Get it into the shot and zoom her in. These are the A320 air stairs for Menzies Aviation, and it'll go just there. And then we'll look at the other side of the aircraft, and we'll put a truck there, and we'll also put a catering truck at the rear. So let me just stand up so I can have a better view of it. There you go. This button may need to be straightened up a little bit. So that's pretty much it for that aircraft there. That's what this aircraft is going to look like. And this one here. This one here is going to technically be pulling into the gate. And I'll put a bus at the front of it. Actually, I might just put a bus at the front of it now, or do I put it later? Yep, that's the one. Good old Jaffa Jet. So here are the buses. Very cool. So I'll just break this one open. Not too sure if they're available anymore, but I'll have a look around after the stream, I suppose. I'll put this bus out, and then I'll carry on with the models. And I do still have roughly five to put out. 6, I think it is. So here is the bus. This aircraft here is the one being serviced here in New Zealand. We drive on the left-hand side. So I'll put it there. Very cool. Very cool. Now I'll just put that there, and that there as a reminder. And where's the other air stair? And I'll put that there as well, because the air stairs were made by Infinite Model. Definitely go ahead and check out wings400.com. Put that there just to remind me. Very cool. And I'll just pack that away, and then we will continue with the model aircraft, as we do have some more to put on the airport here. The airport's starting to take shape anyway, which is nice to see. So those 3 aircraft there are the only ones that have been put with GSC. Next aircraft we're going to be looking at will be located on the runway here, just there, turning on to the runway. May just run out of space here for a moment. And I actually am running out of space. So let's go ahead and bring it open. And it is, of course, this Vietnam Airlines 787-9. This will be going out with service back to Hanoi. Hanoi being the capital city of Vietnam, of course. Here is the model, released way back, I think 2018, I think it was, when it arrived in my collection. Very cool. We'll be going on to the runway, as I mentioned before, lining up for its departure back home. So if you haven't already, go ahead and leave a thumbs up below. Great indication of how much you enjoyed today's live stream. As we continue, leave a thumbs up. As I mentioned before, subscribe, and of course get the notification bell on. Let me know where you're watching from. It's nice to have some support around the world. I don't really do what I do here on the channel for the numbers in terms of subscribers, but it's nice to see the array of support that I get on these videos that I do. There's the Vietnam Airlines Streamliner there, looking rather nice. I'll put the camera back here, and we'll get the next one out, another Dreamliner, for everyone's pleasure. And of course that is the EgyptAir 787-9, then the second, I believe, of the African carriers, because the first one was of course Ethiopian Airlines. That was the first actual model to feature on the update of the stream. Very cool indeed. EgyptAir's livery looks rather nice, especially on the A350. We'll definitely be going ahead and getting that from ASJE Models. I do think they are soon to be releasing it as a future release. I believe Aviation has already released it, so I might go ahead and get theirs as well, depending if ASJE Models goes ahead and releases it. So very cool. So this aircraft here will be sitting on the taxiway. So I am running out of room for my tripod, so we'll have to just bear with me for a moment. So this will sit here. Here we go. Looks rather nice. A bit dirty if I say so myself, but so I'll clean it off in time for the update. You got a bit of room to go. Have an aircraft coming here, another one here, and another one here, and then one sitting here. Okay, that's the plan anyway. I cannot zoom out any further, so just have to might just have to move this ATR just for the moment. So I'll just put that off to the side, and I will put that back when closing off the stream, because the next box is rather big, so hope you don't mind that. Next aircraft, if you are a fan of Star Wars, then you'll like this aircraft. This livery does not exist anymore. It's not a 787, so it's not the R2-D2 livery on that All Nippon Airways Dreamliner, but it is on a 777, the Star Wars Galaxy Edge livery on the LATAM Brazil 777-300ER. As you can see, looking rather nice. And then we will lift up the box there, and then we'll get it open. There's the model, looking nice. Of course, LATAM Brazil being a subsidiary of the LATAM group. Of course, LATAM is a combination of the old airline called LAN Chile and TAM Airlines, or TAM Brazil. The LA bit of LAN and TAM of TAM Airlines combined, LATAM. And they have other subsidiary airlines that are based in other South American countries like Ecuador, Colombia, Paraguay, I believe. I believe Bolivia as well, and Venezuela, I think. So very cool. Mentioned yesterday that this, and just before, that this livery doesn't exist anymore, but I decided to keep it anyway because I like the livery. And I mean, it is, as you can see, it has a stormtrooper on the tail fin. Not that I've ever seen Star Wars, but I do. I mean, I'd be silly not to know who the characters are, right? Sorry for those Star Wars fans that were liking my stream up until now. Me mentioning that I've never seen Star Wars, you probably just fell off your seat, right? So we'll put her there. Make sure that she is straight on the taxiway line. She does look like it. So we have one aircraft here, another one here, another one sitting in the middle here. Depending on the size of them. Right. Might just have to unbox all of these just off screen. Next one we'll be looking at is this Junior Airlines 787-9 in the Chinese Pioneer livery. The first of the 4 Junior Airlines aircraft to arrive in my collection. Also the first of their 787s to be delivered to the airline in general. Registered as Bravo-1115. Very cool indeed. We'll just put her at the taxiway. Bolivia has the only... yeah, that is right. That is right. Yes, yes, yes. That is correct. That is correct. Indeed. Can see some slight debris on the airport there, which is bugging with my OCD. So do give me a moment. Here it is. Oh no, that's a... there it is. Okay. So I will just put it there. Next aircraft, actually I will just put her off to the background because the box, you know. Right, next aircraft that we'll be looking at now is a special livery, another one of the special liveries from China. A350 this is the Sichuan Airlines Panda Route livery, one of my 2 Panda Route liveries on the 350-900 XWB. XWB standing for extra wide body. Very cool indeed. So I'll get this out and do so in a quick manner. Putting the model in the shot now, and there she is. Looking rather fire, if I say so myself, in that red tail fin. Because, of course, the Sichuan region in China is known for their pandas. And of course, with Sichuan Airlines being from that part of the country in China, it makes sense for why they put most of their 350s, apart from 2 of them, in this Panda Route livery, and a different variation of them as well, which I think is quite nice. So I'll put this Sichuan Airlines 350 here coming in from Chengdu, and I'll put this Junior 787 somewhere in between. Just gonna have to make sure that the separation is realistic. Might also just move this out. look is, of course, the next aircraft. And the last aircraft, of course. So no room for that Fiji Airways 350. It might be chosen for the next airport update, which of course will be random ops number 15. But we'll see what the numbers show. So this last one, the last of the aircraft showcased in today's stream, is another wide body, another quad jet. Used to be a passenger aircraft, but is currently a government aircraft. When the Prime Minister Xi Jinping flies on board, of course China, of course, and as of course is the Air China Boeing 747-400. The only reason why I went ahead and got this one is, of course, because this aircraft, this particular airframe, Bravo-2472, flew to Christchurch earlier in the year, or it might have been late, sometime last year or late last year, and I went ahead and had a look if Energy Models had gone ahead and released it, and they had, so I went ahead and got it. So very cool. And there she is. Rather fancy indeed. If I say so myself, the model will be located just where the tripod is located at the moment. So we'll sort that out in a moment. And I will put one lot of GSC on the wide bodies in the background. So, would you like me to put the GSC on the Finnair 350 or the Virgin Atlantic 350? Because I will then just put the GSC on the rest of them after the stream has concluded. So I'll get the I'll let you guys decide on that. So Finnair or Virgin Atlantic for GSC. The Finnair, okie dokie, no problem. So this will be the wide body stand. Sorry, the wide body stairs, and would need 4 of the Gate Gourmet catering trucks. I've already got 2 out, so we'll need 2 more. So here we go. So we've got the air stairs and we've got the trucks, as you can see. So very nice. Just put that off to the side. Very cool. I will just locate this somewhere else and put the tripod in here. Might be able to do a better view down in the corner. Just don't want to knock the 350 that's directly underneath the tripod. Radio. Not too bad of an angle, if I say so. Right, let's get this open. Air stairs. Won't be able to see this from the angle, but you can see that they are much larger compared to the other air stairs that you saw, because of Menzies Aviation on the side of it. And I will quickly just put that next to the Lima, I think it's a Lima 2 door that they vacate from, but I'll put it at the Lima 1 door in this case. I mean, you can sort of see it there. Not too bad of an angle. Should give myself some credit sometimes. Sweet, so we'll put that off to the side, and then we'll get these catering trucks. I need to get the other two, so do stand by. I'll bring the camera with me. As you can see, looking quite nice. The display on the airport at the moment. We'll need to quickly write out the script in time for the filming of the update. So these trucks are pretty cool because you can actually pull it out like that and have them up to the doors. So we've got two doors that we put these on. So there's three doors on this side and one on the other side that usually has these catering trucks. So I'll put this first one just here at the front. Or it just needs to be a little bit raised. So just above the cab of the truck. And then like that, it's just a little bit underneath. So we'll do that again. Me being picky. OCD, blame the OCD. There we go. Not bad. Okay, and we'll do another one. The other one is the R2 door, Romeo 2 door. Just there. And the other one is the Romeo 4 door, which is this one here. And I think it's a little bit higher than the rest of the aircraft, so we'll just put that in like that. And then doing the same thing with this one and putting it on the opposite side at the Lima 4 door. Because Lima, L to represent the word left on the left side, Romeo R representing the R, so the right hand side. So very cool. That's the Finnair 350 done with the GSE. So I'll put a GSE on this one here and this one here. Might do some of those ones down there as well, depending on how many sets I have left. So we'll put the Junior 787 back on the taxiway, and line her up properly. Oops. And then I'll put this Air China Queen of the Skies 747 on the runway, like so. And that is pretty much the display of the airport. One thing else that I will do is I will put this pushback tug in front of the Ethiopian 350, not connecting it up, but just in front, as you can see. So that will be a departure, an arrival, 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 arrival. So how many more sets of air stairs do I have? So I've got 2 narrow bodies, and I've got 4 of the that's a wide body, that's a wide body, that's a wide body. Interesting. Okay, but anyway, that is pretty much the display of the airport for the next episode of my Random Ops series, Random Ops number 14, I believe it is. Let me just try and find the script I have. There it is, Random Ops number 13. My bad. No? It's definitely random ops number 14. Yep, random ops number 14. So I hope you enjoyed what you came along and saw in today's live stream. A bit longer than the last one, part 1 episode number 16 on the channel. But I do hope you came along and enjoyed what you saw. If you did, go ahead and leave a thumbs up below. Great indication of how much you enjoyed today's live stream and of course the content seen here on this channel. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new or if you like what you see. Come along and support my movements here on the channel. And of course, turn the notification bell on. Set the option to all to receive all of my notifications for future videos seen here on the channel. As we look down the line of the wide-body aircraft sitting at the Bravo Alpha stands there. Very nicely done. Go ahead and check out my social media links in the description below to my Linktree account, or a Linktree link that has all of my links in one full place, including my Instagram page for ASJE International Airport, and of course the airport's website, which I showcased in yesterday's stream. And of course, go ahead and check out my my full array of models in my collection via my Medbee account. The second link at the top of the description below. So very nicely done. Thank you for coming along and tuning into today's stream. ASJE Aviation HQ Live, episode 16, part 2 of setting up my next airport update, random ops number 14. The update will be filmed very soon and put up on the channel very soon, next week sometime. Just need to write out the script. One aircraft that I am missing out of the display is, of course, the Air New Zealand ATR 72, which I'll put there. And that is now the full display. Just need to put the GSC, which I'll put in post live stream, post production. So very cool indeed. Thank you very much for coming along, guys. And yeah, hopefully you come along and tune into the next live stream, which I will announce sometime in the month of August, going into September for the next airport update. But yeah, until next time, guys. Thank you for coming along. Until next time, guys. Fly safe, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.